Dr. Kicksnull's chitinous exoskeleton clicked nervously as she reviewed the sensor data for the third time. The readings couldn't be correct. According to their instruments, the planet designated Terra 7739 should have been nothing but molten rock and toxic atmosphere, yet somehow it hosted a thriving biosphere. Expedition leader Zorth, she called across the cramped research vessel. "I'm detecting impossible atmospheric conditions on the target world." Zorth's 6 eyes rotated independently to focus on her display. As a Veiltaran, he had survived the acid storms of Kelfin Prime and the crushing gravity of Gorthak Station, earning him a reputation as one of the galaxy's premier exinobiologists. Nothing should have surprised him anymore. "Define impossible, Dr. Kicksnull." "Oxygen concentration of 21%. Free dihydrogen monoxide covering 70% of the surface. Atmospheric pressure readings suggest the presence of nitrogen in massive quantities. And the surface temperature." She paused, double-checking her instruments. "The surface temperature ranges from -40 to +50 degrees Celsius." Zorth's primary manipulator tentacles curled in disbelief. Such conditions would kill most known life forms within minutes. Oxygen was a highly corrosive gas that degraded cellular structures. Water in liquid form indicated temperature fluctuations that would rupture most biological membranes. And nitrogen, pure, undiluted nitrogen, was a death sentence for carbon-based life. "There must be instrumental error," declared Navigation Officer Thresh, his crystalline body refracting the ship's internal lighting. "No planet could support life under such extreme conditions." Dr. Kicksnull bristled at the suggestion, her antennae twitching indignantly. "My equipment is calibrated to galactic standard precision. These readings are accurate." "Then we have discovered the ultimate Deathworld," Zorth concluded grimly. "A planet so hostile that it defies all known parameters for biological existence. We'll observe from orbit and collect atmospheric samples with automated probes." The research vessel's scholarly pursuit settled into a stable orbit around the impossible world. Through the observation dome, the crew could see swirling white clouds over blue-brown terrain. It looked almost pleasant, which only made the readings more disturbing. "Launching probe 77 Alpha," announced Thresh, his harmonic voice creating tiny resonances in the ship's hull. "Descent trajectory nominal." They watched in tense silence as the probe penetrated the atmosphere, its sensors feeding back a steady stream of data that only confirmed their worst fears. The atmosphere was indeed a corrosive mixture of oxygen and nitrogen. The surface temperature readings showed violent fluctuations. And everywhere, impossibly, the sensors detected signs of biological activity. "Zorth," Dr. Kicksnull's voice was barely a whisper. "The probe is detecting movement. Large-scale biological signatures." On the main display, grainy images began to resolve. Massive organisms covered in some kind of flexible integument moved across the landscape. They appeared to be bipedal, walking upright despite the crushing gravitational forces that would have flattened most species. Their bodies seemed to be composed primarily of water, another impossibility, given the temperature extremes. "By the 7 moons of Xerxes," breathed Thresh. "They're thriving in those conditions." Suddenly, the probe's communication array crackled to life. A transmission primitive by galactic standards, but undeniably artificial, was being broadcast on multiple frequencies. The universal translator struggled with the complex linguistic patterns before finally producing coherent speech. "Unknown vessel, this is Houston Ground Control. You are in violation of Earth's airspace. Identify yourself and state your intentions." The bridge fell silent. Earth. The crew exchanged meaningful glances. Every spacefaring civilization had heard whispers of this legendary Deathworld, the mythical planet that supposedly birthed the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Zorth activated the communication array with trembling tentacles. This is Expedition Leader Zorth of the Galactic Scientific Consortium. We are conducting a xenobiological survey. We had no idea this system was inhabited. A pause, then stand by for escort. Houston, control out. Within minutes, their sensors detected incoming craft, sleek, angular vessels that moved with predatory grace. Unlike the organic curves favored by most species, these ships looked like weapons given form. They took flanking positions around the scholarly pursuit with military precision. Consortium vessel. This is Colonel Sarah Martinez, commanding the Earth Defense Squadron. Follow our lead to Landing Bay 7. Any deviation from course will be considered hostile action. Dr. Kicksnell's exoskeleton rattled with terror. These creatures, these humans, were not only surviving on a death world, they were expanding beyond it. They had weaponized space travel. The landing bay turned out to be a marvel of engineering carved directly into living rock. As the scholarly pursuit touched down, Zorth noted that the atmospheric readings remained consistently lethal. Yet through the viewport, he could see dozens of humans moving about without protective equipment, breathing the corrosive atmosphere as if it were perfectly normal. The first human to board their ship was Colonel Martinez herself. She moved with the fluid confidence of an apex predator, her pale skin unmarked by the ravages of oxygen exposure. When she spoke, her words carried the casual authority of someone accustomed to being the most dangerous thing in any room. "Welcome to Earth," she said, offering what their database identified as a facial expression indicating friendliness. "I understand you folks are scientists." Zorth nodded shakily. "We are xenobiologists studying impossible worlds. Your planet's atmospheric conditions should preclude all biological activity." Martinez laughed a sound that made Dr. Kicksnell's carapace vibrate with sympathetic harmonics. "Deathworld? That's what you call this place?" She gestured toward the viewport, where the toxic blue sky stretched endlessly overhead. "This is adorable. You should see what we call a vacation spot." "Vacation spot?" Thresh's crystalline form flickered with confusion. "Sure. Ever been to Venus? Surface temperature hot enough to melt lead, atmospheric pressure that would crush your ship like a tin can, and sulfuric acid rain. My daughter spent her honeymoon there last month. Said the sunsets were beautiful." The alien scientists stared in horrified fascination as Martinez continued, "Or maybe you'd prefer Mars. We've got settlements there too. No atmosphere to speak of, radiation levels that would sterilize most organics, and dust storms that last for months. Real cozy." Dr. Kicksnell's translator struggled with the concept. You colonize death worlds for recreation? Well, we've got to live somewhere." Martinez shrugged. "Can't all fit on Earth, and most planets are too soft for our liking anyway. Low gravity makes us weak, clean atmospheres give us headaches, and don't get me started on worlds without natural disasters. Where's the excitement in that?" Zorth realized with growing dread that they hadn't discovered a death world at all. They had found the homeworld of a species so incredibly, impossibly resilient that they considered lethally hostile environments to be suburbs. "Tell you what," Martinez continued cheerfully, "since you've come all this way, why don't we give you the full tour? I can show you our deep ocean research stations, 12 kilometers down, crushing pressure, no sunlight, surrounded by creatures that could eat your ship. The researchers love it down there." As the human officer outlined an itinerary that read like a catalogue of cosmic horrors, Zorth made a mental note to recommend immediate reclassification of Earth in the galactic database. Not as a death world, but as something far more terrifying, a nursery for the most dangerous species the universe had ever produced. And the humans called it adorable.